And then we're going to move on to new business, and this is going to be a report update, downtown Trestle and the Petaluma Trolley. And we'll have Commissioner Rhymes introduce our guest.
Hi, thanks so much for coming. I was interested in having the Trolley and Trestle project come to talk to us when I saw you guys at the Petaluma River Access Partners Day. Is that the right name of it? The plan, yeah. And I thought, you know, we'd been hearing from like the Petaluma Small Craft Coalition and the Petaluma River Heritage folks and David Yearsley, Friends of the Petaluma River, and not too much. I hadn't heard yet too much about the Petaluma Trolley and Trestle project, so it's just thought it would be a really great tie-in to what we've been hearing a lot lately about what's going on along the Petaluma River. So when I saw you guys at the Petaluma River Day, I approached you guys and you said you'd be happy to come, and we're happy to have you. And this is Chris. And Chris, how do you pronounce your last name?
Stevick.
Stevick. So this is Chris Stevick, and he's going to tell us a little bit about the Petaluma Trolley project, which I can't wait to hear. Thank you.
Great.
Thank you so much for the honor. And I really hope I do it justice. My name's Chris Stevick. I live at 28 Liberty Street, and what I do for a living is pretty much restore things in old buildings, outside facades, staircases, windows, things like that. So taking care of Petaluma, which I love so much, is only part of that also. The trestle actually, I'd like to point out that in front of each of you on page 5 is the Post article that in a more detailed fashion delineates some of the history of what it is we've been doing. And also, you have a copy of the field trip that we've planned for March 5th to the Western Railroad Museum. Everybody's invited, and I'll explain a little bit more about that a little bit later. The trestle first came up to my attention in a specific way when it was scheduled to be torn down, and one of the things that that Paul Marangella would like me to do would be to okay it, and to okay the removal of it. And I thought that was a great responsibility, and before I did that, I should review it and look at it a little more closely. And I thought I was the only one who thought that trestle was really special, and I just didn't want to force my will on everybody else. And I understand that if you can't save something, you should take it out. It shouldn't. It's going to be in everybody's way, and it's a visual becoming could fall into the water. So I started to research the trestle, and according to all of the CEQA scales, the trestle lands right in the middle of preservation in a big way. It's useful, it's historic, it's central, it's unique, it's symbolic. It has to do specifically with individuals who helped formulate the success of our town, McNear, and it's iconic to Petaluma. It's a symbol of Petaluma. As a matter of fact, there are so many visions or so many pictures that have been used over the last 15 or 20 years to demonstrate or signify Petaluma pictorially with a picture of the trestle that it has come to symbolize us in a sense, and taking care of it could only be a good thing. So and it also symbolizes an important part of our history, because it was Petaluma's position on the river that had to do with the commerce that made Petaluma wealthy in the first place, and the whole river was covered with wharfs, and this is the only one that's left. And so it's taking it down to the dumps and paying number 2 hazardous waste to have it removed. Seems like something we don't want to do. So I started to look into the possibilities of how to save it. And luckily the city, or very smartly, the city financed a historic structure study. And we found the money to do it, so we found the city had money allocated to do it. So that took about 2 years and revealed that the structure is not only savable, but also very significant. And that was a great revelation to have a historic structure study reveal that. It's actually economically important also because it is a draw. So restored, it would be a draw to Petaluma, and it's green. It creates foot traffic. And there is something else that's really important. Our retail businesses are suffering with competing with web sales, and so we need some other types of attractions. And other cities don't have the type of unique elements that Petaluma has. Like its magnificent historic downtown, and the river, which actually I believe to be our own personal Grand Canal, and things like the Trestle, which let's see, I do have a picture. Everybody has seen pictures of the river festivals that used to be on the Trestle. Here's other symbols, that phone books, and the Chamber of Commerce has always used the Trestle for the past 15 years on all of their displays. So during from '86 to '92, we had a river festival, and the Trestle was loaded with people, and there was a little bit of worry about it was not an easy place to walk. Sometimes we had to put plywood down. And it was a very successful celebration of Petaluma's heritage. Unfortunately, it had to stop because the Trestle became dangerous. The Trestle itself, right next to the turning basin here, is a significant symbol of our history in how you can see with all these lines, these are all railroad lines. And the trolley lines, and Petaluma had all kinds of commerce running through it. And what happened is that the railroad, the NWP line, the major line, started to pass Petaluma and threaten the economy, and that's why the McNear and the Chamber of Commerce started the Petaluma Trolley. It was to compete with the railroad. Now, most of the time when you try and compete with the railroad, either you are taken out or you are bought, one or the other. But the trolley successfully competed with the railroad. It did it for 30 years. It had up to 250,000 passengers, 10,000 carloads. It was overnight freight to San Francisco. It was the equivalent of FedEx happening in Petaluma. And then what happened as far as the industry goes, which set Petaluma into a tailspin, was that the trucking, or the shipping rather, and the commerce went from point to point with trucks. And with the new bridge and new highways, the Petaluma Trolley couldn't compete anymore. And Petaluma went into a rather significant recession, kind of a humble, quiet period. And in fact, during that period, there was movements to revitalize Petaluma. A 1/4-cent sales tax was voted down to level half of Main Street and improve Petaluma. And you see in some of the facades and buildings, they covered them up to try and make them look modern. We've since then taken a number of those. When I say we, I mean the big we, Petaluma, has since taken a number of those down. So what is it that Petaluma Trolley really seeks to do? Is what happened is I started researching about this history, and I couldn't believe that I didn't know it. Here I was, I'd been president of Heritage Homes. I thought I was in love with Petaluma, and I didn't know anything about the trolley. So it's a big surprise, and it's a kind of fascinating. I'll show you. Let's see, we have right here. Here, when one day Lauren Williams took me to the Western Railroad Museum, and their pride and joy, their founding car, the car that started them going, was this car right here. And I was sitting in it, and I just love balance, proportion, design, craftsmanship, all the things that this symbolized. It was like riding in a Mercedes-Benz, you know, it's just an old one. And it was just beautiful, and it blew me away, because all of a sudden I realized that this was originally a Petaluma car. I'm in the Western Railroad Museum riding a Petaluma car. We have the tracks. Why don't we do that? Can't we do that? And so I started becoming a little more serious in the organization. One of the things that we have coming up is a field trip to the Western Railroad Museum, and that's in everybody's. It's a come one, come all. It's March 5th. We're leaving at 9:30 at the Bayless Barn. That's across from Grocery Outlet. That's Bayless Street that's across from Grocery Outlet. And if you arrive and you need a ride, I'm sure we're going to be able to facilitate that. And if you do, and I highly advise that anybody do it, if you do, because we have arranged for the number 63, that's this car, to be rolling that day. It doesn't roll all the time. It's too precious for them and there's other cars. But you'll get religion if you ride in this car. And the idea of the Petaluma Trolley has always been simply to reveal its history and preserve the tracks and the possibility of running a trolley occasionally and showing people what our history is and how magnificent it was. Now, how much this grows into a more continual thing, it actually will evolve in stages. First of all, we have just static displays of trolleys. We're restoring about, with the NWP, there's about 4 trains in the yard that you can see right now that are being restored. One PNSR caboose is almost finished. The cupola is going on it soon. So the museum we have, and how far and how long do we go, or how much do we actually get developed, has to do with how popular the idea is and how big a draw it is. But the plan has always been simply to have, to take care of the right-of-way, and we just finished a business plan. A business plan, I don't know if anybody's ever done it, but it's a very difficult introspective analysis of everything you're doing, what's wrong and what you're doing right. Well, and we compared it, we read everybody else's business plan first. It had to do with our industry, and there were similar situations as ours. And it turns out we're doing everything just right. Except for in our situation right now, we're just beginning. We don't have a set path of advances. One of the biggest hang-ups has been taking care of the trestle. If that can't be taken, then we can't really run a trolley. It might be that it just be something that, as we start out, something that just shows people what the trolley looked like and what it could be. And as certain sections, like the Water Street North section, the developers of Water Street North and all the developers along the line who have developments scheduled have agreed to take up the tracks and put down new tracks. So there's no cost. And we're picturing ourselves and fashioning ourselves very much like the Western Railroad Museum, which is run all by volunteers and grants that it is able to obtain. So if this becomes a phenomenally popular type of situation, and I wouldn't want to thwart that, we have we have prepared for it. This particular, let me see right here. Oh, here we go. This particular trolley is being built by Paul Class, being restored by Paul Class and his associates. It is called a California car. At this moment, and I pleaded with the Western Railroad Museum to let us have the car to show Petalumans what they really could have, but I couldn't get any other cars. And Matt White said, Chris, okay, here's what you got to do. You got to fix that trestle, get the city to fix that trestle, which is what they're doing, and put a car on the tracks. And it's only taken me 5 years to get those things done. This car, this is how the car looked about 2 years ago. We're very close. We're very close right now to being finished. I am trying, actually, to arrange for it to be in the Butter and Eggs Day Parade. That will be a phenomenal coup. You know, a lot of times you try and do things and it doesn't work out, but it doesn't matter. You grease the wheels and you found out what went wrong and you fix it anyway and you try again. So I'm negotiating for that. That'll be on a flatbed truck. This is a real trolley. It's if it were to operate on the Petaluma tracks at this moment on a short distance, it would be, of course, pulling its own power because we don't have overhead wires. A few things about that development of stages I'd like to mention. One of them is that we have about a mile of tracks in the ground right now. Here we are. I like these so much better than a PowerPoint display, you know. And you don't have to turn all the lights off. I can see faces and everything. But we have about a mile of tracks right now. We actually have a mile of tracks in storage, sitting right next to and everything we need. And this right-of-way, this existing right-of-way, the PNSR right-of-way, runs right along here. But there aren't any tracks there right now. And we're working with SMART, who happens to be pro-rail. Very pro-rail. In fact, they don't want to let go of anything that they don't have to. They're very much cooperative, and we're working with the city and SMART to work out a program where we can start laying some track. I say it's very simple. We have all kinds of volunteers ready to do it. And we all have, there's a packet of volunteers ready to restore. And so we're focusing on organizing these individuals. So the question, as in the biz, is where do we go from here? By the way, this is a really pretty good article that's a little even-handed on the things that have been happening. Well, it all depends on how we cooperate and what we get done. There's one more thing I'd like to say. Of course, that's silly. There's 10 more things I'd like to say, but I'll limit it to one. I'd like to see Petaluma has got its back to the river. It is so beautiful. It is a reflecting pond of its magnificence. And if shops would turn around and begin to face the water, and restaurants would face the water, and make it a focal point, astoundingly enough, no other town similar to Petaluma has a river like this. It's just a little off to the side. It's kind of, you know, it's got a little warshy every once in a while, and it's, the town itself is kind of mixed up with old and new. But this town has a great treasure, and the water is it. And I think the trolley would help refocus, even in its limited use, would help refocus. There's another thing. But the things that you might think are big troubles, like, don't you have to get a bridge to go across the river? Yes, we do. But the CEQA requires that when a bridge is taken down or replaced, that the person replacing the bridge see if they could find some historic use for the bridge. Where the possibility is there. And and other donations like that in kind are all in line. And I wonder if I could just submit myself to some questions about the things that I've left out.
Does anybody have a question for Mr. Stevick? I do have one about the trestle itself. Now, I've been reading in the paper that there is movement on restoring the trestle. Maybe you can just elaborate more on that.
Oh, I'd love to. Yeah, it's all right here. I just went, off my off my list. The trestle is actually receiving a grant, which the Heritage Homes, Petaluma Trolley, the City of Petaluma, and I got to single out Diane Ramirez for her magnificent efforts, and the WRA, which is a wetlands reclamation, who has all combined together to work to make what I would describe as a bulletproof application. At a time when everybody said, it can't be done. The state doesn't have any money. There's no way this is ever going to happen. And as a matter of fact, it almost didn't, but it did. And so now Diane is working on a multi-stage that's in the application, a multi-stage process that involves, first of all, an RFP, a request for proposals, to do the designing that includes public hearings, and the RFP will be bid on by different design companies, and there's already a bunch of them. The trestle is such a plum. Anybody would love to have their name associated with it. So that should actually be ready within a month and a half, approximately. Then that organization starts having public hearings, gets engineers to analyze the trestle pretty much. One of the magnificent things we discovered as we were trying to save the trestle is that you don't have to repound all the pilings. As a matter of fact, it was the WRA who restored a pier, and it was also done by cutting off the pilings, sleeving them, and then putting a new piling in the top. That is because the pilings right below the mud line in the no oxygen area are solid virgin redwood, hard, deep, all the way to bedrock, good. So it's very easy for me to say all you have to do, but it is not a very complicated process. As a matter of fact, Michael Turner had done it, and they could do a number of them a day. So that only takes us to then that includes the cost of RFPs for estimating the cost. You can't fund something until you know how much it costs. So they say, is it really? Well, by then, I mean that's the roller coaster is over the top. Then it's rolling. It's you know what you have. You know it's valuable. You know it's historic. You know it's doable. You know how much it costs. We're good. Okay. I'm sorry. Did I leave anything out?
Any other questions? Does anybody have another question? Okay. I see somebody in the... Are you here for public comment on this? Next item. Okay, great. Thank you. Oh. Yeah, no. Well, I know that this is more just of bring us up to speed and informational, and this to kind of give us a heads up of where they are right now. I would like to say to Mr. Stevick, I mean, I've been watching you throughout the years, come forward and working on this project, and I have to tell you, it's just one of those things where perseverance does start to pay off, and I know that there's been a lot of debate about that trestle, abandon it, tear it down, what can we do with it, where's the money going to come from, and you just never know. And then all of a sudden, bam, here you are, united with a bunch of other folks along the river, and look where you are now. And you have something to work. It's just amazing.
I can't wait for that party.
I know, but it's just amazing the perseverance that good things can happen.
I wanted to show you. Peggy Sabera has done a artist representation. Now, I knew that was going to happen. Now we couldn't put too many people on this trestle because then you couldn't see the trestle. But it would be a daily experience that people would just be able to walk right on through. And the tracks themselves are right up to grade as the trestle was originally designed so the carts could be rolling across it without bumping into the tracks. So this is a kind of vision that would show what something looks like in the morning as your coffee getting warm.
Very nice. Well, with that, I'd like to say thank you very much, unless, Mr. Broden, you have something to add, or Commissioner Rhymes?
It looks like Commissioner Rhymes does as well, but I think it might be important as Chris and the others move forward that they're able to indicate a level of support from the Commission. So a motion of such might be really nice for them to move forward.
We could do that. Commissioner Rhymes, you had something to add?
Yeah, I just wanted to say thank you so much. I've been getting really excited about hearing about this and the rest of the river plan, and it's kind of starting to come together in my eyes. Just all the amazing things that are going along, these pocket parks that we're going to hear about, and making the river more accessible, and maybe we will get some stores to, face towards the river, and the trolley and the smart station. It's just kind of coming together, and it's all part of it. And as it is right now, I'm beaming with pride when I bring visitors down, by the area of the Apple Box, and they're like, "Well, what's this?" I'm like, "Don't you worry, this is going to be wonderful one day." And I just can see what it can be, and I'm excited about it. So thank you.
Well, Heidi, thank you for arranging for me to be here. I would like to suggest, and I'm going to do that through Diane, that we'd like to have a poster that says the City of Petaluma is in the process of restoring this magnificent piece of our history, and some names and dates and processes of who to contact, and maybe some flyers or something like that, just to let people know that there's something happening there, because there's a lot of things happening underground, and it takes a lot of work for this to happen, and by the time it breaks ground, it's got roots, and people can't see those roots. So I'd like to have a kind of a display.
Yeah, I think that's a good idea. Commissioner Escudero.
Yes. First of all, Chris, thank you very much for working such a valuable, project for Petaluma. I really like it. But my question,
it's actually been a large group of people, and different levels, and I've got to say, our volunteers and the people, you might say people of faith, who just chip in a little bit here and there, a little bit of energy here and there, really keep the whole thing alive.
For not that you're talking about volunteers, for people that they just start hearing about this project, though, is there a website or information that people can go to and volunteer, or
PetalumaTrolley.org?
Okay.
And we just shifted it over, so we're putting it, and we're about to have a membership drive. We've been keeping copious connections with, we have about 800, and anybody who's interested can go to that, sign up, and also if they want to contact me personally, I don't mind 778-7878, because those people really want to help out, and they'd like to know, and they might not be able to go on this particular trip, and I'll organize another one, because it's something to see, and please come.
Thank you, Chris.
Okay. Yep. Thank you very much. So, yes. Councilmember Barrett?
Yeah, just a quick note. I think the idea of a sign there is actually a really good one, because I think it answers a lot of people's questions, and it also might point out that it's not particularly safe at this point, but that hopefully is transitory. And I don't know if other people were able to see John King's article in the San Francisco Chronicle regarding Petaluma and its reuse of buildings and its infrastructure. It's in SF Gate. I think you can just Google it. It was in, I believe, today's paper. But it's a wonderful article about how Petaluma has been so wonderful at reusing and rehabbing old buildings and other infrastructure. And this is a perfect example of that kind of thing, where it is in our, it's just what we do well, and it's what has kept us a unique city. So thanks, Chris, for being part of that.
Thanks for your help.
Okay. With that, can we have a motion of support?
I'll second.
Okay, we have a motion by Rhymes, and we'll go with a second by Escudero. All those in favor? Aye. All those opposed? None. So motion unanimous. Thank you very much, Mr. Stevick. We approve it. Looks good. Keep up the hard work.
Thank you so much for this honor of speaking and for your great service to Petaluma.
Great.